developments of the last 24, 48 hours, all those resignations, the ructions within Theresa May's government, many people will be wondering if in fact it's their views which really matter, or whether the country is being held to ransom by what is happening within a power struggle within the Conservative Party. Just up the street here behind me in Parliament Square, there was a rally last night by people calling for a second vote, a second referendum, what they're calling a people's vote. And certainly certain opinion polls are pointing to growing support for that. And I think actually when you consider that the Brexit component of the country is now split on what type of Brexit is necessary or is the best option, no deal or this deal, well then that second vote becomes all the more compelling. Let me bring in Oliver Patel. He's a research associate at University College London. Oliver, you've got more of your finger on the pulse on how Britons are feeling. What is your sense as to what emotions are going through their minds, considering all that's happened over the last 48 hours?
I think that the general public looks at the events of the last 48 hours with a sense of exasperation. I don't think that most people follow the minutiae of the Brexit process, so they'll probably be looking at this and thinking, what is going on here? Why can't politicians just get on with it? It's a bit of a cliche, but that's probably what a lot of people will be thinking.
Get on with it? Get on with anything?
I think that you'll have a lot of people who voted for Leave will just not really understand why it's taking so long, why it's causing so many problems. And a lot of people who voted for Remain probably just exasperated and would like the whole thing to be cancelled. So we have obviously, as you said, growing calls for a second referendum. That campaign has really increased it's been much more powerful in the past few weeks. And I think it's important just to sort of lay out how that could actually come to be. So
how could that happen? I mean, Theresa May says she's dead set against it. Even the leader of the opposition party, Jeremy Corbyn, many questions as to whether his party has voted to support it, but he seems very lackluster on it.
Yes, so I think there's a very clear process as to how it could happen, and it seemed rather unthinkable a few months ago, but here we are. So if Theresa May survives for the next couple of days, she clings on to power, and the European Council approve this deal, which they probably will do on the 25th of November, then there'll be a vote in Parliament in early December, perhaps the 10th of December. If MPs vote to reject the deal, so if the UK Parliament votes to reject the deal, then everything is on the cards.
Anything's to play for at that stage.
Yes, exactly.
And in many ways, what's happened over the last few days with the resignations from the Cabinet and the likelihood of further resignations, even Theresa May's leadership, is in many ways a sideshow. That's the real decider, that parliamentary vote. That is make or break.
Exactly. That vote is the decisive moment in the Brexit process. Everything else pales into insignificance. And if MPs vote to reject the deal, then everything's on the table. No deal, a second referendum, a general election, and maybe even a renegotiation. And in my opinion, of all those options, a second referendum would be the most likely.
Okay, Oliver Patel from University College London, thank you very much for your thoughts today. How are people in Britain feeling? Well, Theresa May's going to get an earful in just over an hour and a half's time when she goes on a radio show to do a phone-in, so she'll certainly find out then. Back to you.